I had those moments, waking up just in a cold sweat, knowing that the Grim Reaper was standing at the foot of my bed. Like, I have a right to be here. I took your dad out, took a grandparent. I never even knew my grandparents. I have a right. I'm here to get you too.
All her life, Abigail Holt Jennings had braced herself for this moment, a battle with cancer. She'd watched her dad fight it for 10 years until he passed away when she was 16. Now 42 years old, she'd been diagnosed with an aggressive form of metastatic cancer.
I think the Lord was preparing me, like, you're about to enter a battle, but I am with you.
Less than a year earlier, she'd undergone a double mastectomy after learning she had stage 3 breast cancer. She thought she was in the clear, but 6 months later at a follow-up PET scan with her oncologist,
He said, this is what I feared. It's moved into your lungs, and you see these places? He's like, these are places I cannot get to. This is terminal, and you will die from this.
the treatments he did offer were extreme and would only put off the inevitable.
That is when that Grim Reaper, I could feel that thing, that spirit of death and that spirit of fear walk in the room. And then I felt wonderful Jesus walk in the room as well. And he said, but who do you say that I am? And it was in that moment that something rose up inside of me. And I remember answering him in my mind, this is going to be a great line in my book one day. In other words, I know you're going to heal me, and I'm going to write about this one day.
Abigail declined the treatments and decided she would fight cancer taking a natural and dietary approach, and above all, praying and believing God for healing.
As believers, there is a hope inside of us. And so now, did I just walk around like, oh, I didn't know how God was going to do it, but I knew my eyes were on him.
Enlisting the prayers of her family and friends, Abigail, a single mom of 2, talked openly with her children about her health.
And I remember my little girl, Lily, came up to me with a magazine, and she opened the magazine and she loved American Girl dolls. They now have an American Girl doll with no hair. And she said, Mom, maybe I need to get this one this year in case you lose your hair. And I said, honey, you will not have to order that doll because Mommy is not losing her hair.
3 months later, another PET scan showed the cancer was spreading aggressively in her lymph nodes. Holding on to hope was becoming harder.
I simply had no options. I was just getting more scared and more frustrated and would wake up with dreams, seeing like a movie screen my funeral.
Then, a couple months after getting that news, Abigail went to the Dominican Republic to visit a friend, a doctor, and take time to rest and seek God. Abigail remembers showing her friend the PET scan results.
The look on her face when she read that last one, and I had never seen her look like that. That did rattle me. All I know to do is seek God with all my heart. That's all I know to do.
She would spend many hours that week in prayer, seeking God's will. Late one night, near the end of her visit,
I got out there and I said, God, I need to know, am I gonna die? What do you have to say about this? It was just me and God. That is when I felt Jesus walk in, if you will. And I felt his presence. He said, Abigail, I came to have a conversation with you. I came to actually go on a walk.
Abigail says she then saw a vision of herself with Jesus in Jerusalem. He walked her past the cross and into the tomb where he lay down.
And he said, watch this. And he sat up. And he said, Abigail, when I sat up, you sat up. And then he walked to the entrance of the tomb, and I will never forget this as long as I live. He said, when I walked out of the tomb, did I have cancer in my lungs? I said, no, Jesus, you didn't. He said, so do you have to have cancer in your lungs? I said, no, Jesus, I don't. And in that moment, I knew I am cancer-free.
A few weeks after she came home, Abigail faced yet another PET scan. She says that morning, Jesus spoke to her again.
Good morning. This is the glory scan. And I went in that tube. You know, I hate those things. And I just sang, not a fear, nothing.
Later that day, a nurse called with the results.
And she goes, Abigail, I don't really know what to say, but there's nothing here. Like, there's nothing here. And I was like, I know.
At the follow-up appointment, her oncologist confirmed that Abigail was cancer-free.
He goes, I don't need my degree on my wall to see that this is a miracle.
That was 2017, and Abigail has been cancer-free ever since. To anyone who's fighting a battle, her message is clear. Keep your eyes on Jesus.
He was trying to tell me, this doesn't have to do with you. I took care of sin at the cross. I took care of every disease. I took care of every sickness. He is entirely the healer. Entirely.